If you watched New World streams or videos during the preview event, then you probably saw these complaints pop up almost everywhere. What makes it funny to me is that none of those guys even bothered to learn how the combat works, or even check all the available skills. In New World, many passives are equally or even more important than active skills. So all they saw is 3 skills on the screen and a global cooldown, and they immediately got triggered by that. In my opinion, the game already has much more than 3 skills to choose from, but let's start with so-called issue regarding global skill cooldowns. Can we use Berserk and Last Stand almost non-stop? Yes, we can. So are there really global cooldowns if we can make builds that almost completely remove cooldowns? Well, you tell me. But there are many builds where you can almost completely reset or greatly minimize any cooldowns on your skills. And you can achieve that by adjusting your actions and choosing the most efficient chains. Essentially all that you have to do is learn what passive and active abilities every weapon has and put together a funny combination of different skills. Make a unique build for your character. Isn't that the greatest fun in any role-playing game? Of course you can't do that effectively when you start the game. Players will have to actually level up their characters and weapons as well. We can use 3 weapons only at character level 30, and specifically for this build to work you will need 3 weapons. And here's my Intimidator build. The first ability is Hatchet's maxed out Berserk. That gives you immortality for 15 seconds, every hit received increases your damage by 10% and reduces all active cooldowns by 10%. Increases sprinting speed by 20%. Every kill extends Berserk duration by 3 seconds. Insane skill to use. But the fun part is that every kill in Berserk not only extends its duration, but also heals you by 20% from a passive ability that you should have. And from another passive, every light attack increases your damage by 10%. Berserk has a 40-second cooldown, so after you are out of Berserk, 40-second timer starts. Now switch to your sword and shield and use the Last Stand. For 15 seconds, this will reduce all incoming damage, depending on your health, from 10% to 80%. At this point, your Berserk cooldown will be 25 seconds and the Last Stand's cooldown will be at 107 seconds. Now all you have to do is die, simple as that. But no, you don't have to kill yourself or be killed, just pretend dead. And the Musket has this beautiful play dead skill where players enter a state mimicking death to dump all NPC aggro and fake out enemies. Player's nameplate will be disabled. You can shoot your musket, place traps and even switch to other weapons in this state. But the most important perk comes with maxed out play dead. All cooldowns are reset. Now you can use Berserk and Last Stand again. And all you have to do now, during those 15 seconds while in Berserk and 15 seconds while in the Last Stand, is to reduce the 54-second play dead cooldown to around 30 or less. So you can use it as soon as you are out of the Last Stand. And this is really achievable. Every hit while in Berserk reduces cooldowns by 10%. Let's assume that you are being hit just 5 times while you are in Berserk mode. The first time, 2 seconds after you started Berserk. Play dead from 52 seconds now drops to 47. Then 2 seconds later from 45 to 40. Then from 38 to 34. Then from 32 to 29. And finally from 27 to 24. 10 seconds after you started Berserk, your play dead cooldown will be around 24 seconds, just from being hit 5 times. Now Berserk ends after 5 seconds and your play dead will be around 19 seconds. However, if your health went below 40%, then your cooldowns will be reduced by another 20% from a passive ability, or if you manage to kill an enemy during Berserk, then you extended your Berserk by 3 seconds per kill. Or if you are hit more than 5 times, play dead cooldown goes down even more. But basically just 5 hits received and health below 40% or 1 kill in Berserk or Last Stand. And you've managed to get 54-second cooldown for play dead to below 30 seconds. as killing enemy with sword also reduces cooldowns by 35% from another passive ability. By the way, you can use Play Dead when someone tries to steal your node and brings multiple enemies to annoy you. Just play dead and enjoy the light show. Or if you want to get juicy chest guarded by high level enemies, run there and de-aggro everyone who dare to follow you. But if you can kill multiple enemies, then you don't even need to play dead, and I would suggest that you use Sword and Shield's passive ability that rewards with 35% cooldown reduction per kill, combined with Leaping Strike. As you can get another 35% cooldown reduction and plus 50% increased damage to your next attack on a successful hit from Leaping Strike. So just by connecting your Leaping Strike, Berserk will go down from 40 seconds to 26 and one kill will reduce it to 17. So just figure out skills that you want to combine and have fun. Some weapon trees have options on how to very effectively reduce skill cooldowns. Just use them. Now let's take a look at how many skills we actually have in the game and can use with any given weapon. But first, we must figure out what are skills. Some skills don't deal any damage, but just give different buffs, like Purge removes debuffs and provides immunity, The Last Stand provides damage reduction, Speed of Light provides 40-meter dash. Then we have the majority of skills that deal damage in one way or another, and some that apply different debuffs to enemies or give bonuses to players. Some skills have an area of effect, some are single target. Some will move our character while doing so forward, like Leaping Strike and Shield Rush, or backwards, like the Evasive Shot. So essentially skills are a combination of actions that are tied to one button press. Weapons-based damage is modified based on attributes, and then an attack's damage is calculated based on a modifier on that base damage. Light attacks may be anywhere from 0.8 to 1 from base damage, while a fully charged heavy attack is usually around 1.4 of your base damage, and abilities can range widely from 0.25 to 2.5 of your base attack. Isn't that logical that your light and heavy attacks also are skills? Some weapon light attacks can stagger enemies, heavy attacks can knock back or knock down enemies, leg shots can slow enemies, and all deal reasonable amount of damage compared to most skills. Servers track head and leg shots for ranged weapons, so basically just by shooting your bow, light or heavy attack, you have 3 options where to aim. And all these shots can have different results depending on your passives. Now, I already said about the Evasive Shot and Leaping Strike, but essentially it's the same as dodge followed by a light or a heavy attack. Only not disguised as one key press, but rather a multiple key combo. And you choose which direction you dodge, forward, back, left or right. You choose what armor weight you will have, so your dodge will range from a small sidestep to a full-blown dodge roll. Then in PvP there's a great skill called Fake Heavy Attack. When you start your attack and the enemy reacts to that, while you cancel your fake attack and use a block or reposition yourself, so the enemy will waste his attack. Even block essentially is a skill, as it allows us to reduce incoming damage depending on what passive skills and weapons you use, and highly depends on when, where and which direction you block. Regular dodge, space plus direction for light armor users, it's an incredibly powerful skill. And what about crouching and proning? New World actually has a stealth system. By crouching, you reduce the radius in which enemies can spot you, and by proning, reduce it even more. Very nice skills to be used for ambushes. Yes, most of those are not a single button press skill, but this all should be used to be effective in combat and not just used. Timing and spacing usually matters even more than which skill you use. So in my opinion, we can use now 3 one-button skills at a time per weapon. And by playing smart and choosing your weapons, passives and actives, you can cycle even between 4 to 6 skills with no or very small cooldowns. Plus weapons have perks that affect your skills. And additionally we have more than 10 options that will move our character, damage or confuse enemies. After all, a properly timed block can cancel most enemy weapon skills, and the same goes for properly placed and timed light or heavy attack that will interrupt enemy non-grit attacks. Just remember, everything is subject to change, and if you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and click the like button. The link to my Discord is down below. Jump in and let's play New World or other games together. That's it for now. Eternum awaits you.